Cool. Welcome to Brothers from the Same Mother. Are we live streaming? We're live streaming. Welcome to Brothers from the Same Mother, episode 2, the offshoot podcast of Brothers from Other Mothers, where Bob and John doesn't show up, or maybe they're going to watch and show up in the chat and then start chatting, and they're going to pop up in the screen, and then eventually they're going to interrupt the show and then jump on, and that would be a lot of fun too, even though we're doing that show tomorrow. Anyway, how you doing, Paul?
Well, I mean, I'm not feeling good, man. I'm actually.
The Ronies? You got the Ronies?
I'm starting to feel a little sick, and I think I'm about to have my second bout with the virus we shall not name.
Do you really feel that way?
I'm not feeling good. I reached out to one of my more famous friends. He's a podcaster. He's a stand-up comedian. He's an almost former alumni of SNL and amateur physician. And I talked to him, and I told him, I'm like, I'm taking it serious this go around after the last one. And what should I do? And we talked, and he gave me a medication regime to follow. So, I'm not going to bring it up on YouTube because I don't want us to get hit with misinformation what that medication regime is. But the one thing I will say is that we're gonna be throwing the kitchen sink at this one. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Man, Bud Lights. You gotta have Bud Lights, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start making Saturdays a drinking stream. By the way, I'm feeling fine, everyone.
How about that? I just changed it to all messages are visible in my chat. Did it show up? Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
Did you know Bud Light was horse medication?
Yeah, that's what Dr. Gillis says.
Yeah, I heard that on CNNBC or NNSBT, something like that. I don't know. Who watches fucking mainstream media? All right, what do we got to do, man? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I only have a handful of topics written down because I thought you might have some topics, but I got into eating prunes in a big bad way the last week and a half.
Wait, this is important. This is important. Fresh, canned, or dried?
Well, a little bit of everything. Like, I love plums, but I can't find good plums around. And Mom and Dad for Christmas gave me, not for Christmas, they had it. They were pawning it off on me, but it was like this dehydrated fruit, like apricots and pears and shit, like a big bundle bag that came with like nuts and stuff. And I took it off their hands because they didn't want it. And I love that stuff. And in it was like really like top shelf, like prunes, like the good kind that you don't have to refrigerate. And they were so good. And I forgot how much I loved them.
So they were fresh. They weren't dried.
No, they weren't fresh, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they were the kind of dehydrated, like, you know how you buy, like,
that's dried. That's dried.
Yes. It was like that. It was delicious. And then I liked them so much that I went out and bought like the canned ones you get at the store with the seal off lid. You got to refrigerate after opening kind of shit, which are okay. They're fine. But they're not nearly as good as the ones I got from Mom and Dad. But like, I don't know. I just love the taste of a prune, and I've forgotten how much fiber a prune really packs into it, and a plum. And holy moly, man. Like, I'm having this time where like I'm struggling with how much I love eating like this. I call it nature's candy. It's like a nice sugary sweet treat that I know is not
your brains out.
But goddamn, dude, oh my God. It's like a lava pit. So
in the Navy, they always had prunes in the galley for that specific reason. It wasn't because anybody likes prunes. It was for when you get, because a lot of people get constipated when you're at sea.
I love them.
Months, your body gets all kinds of thrown off, and prunes will keep you regular.
I absolutely love the taste of prunes. I genuinely love them. I like them so much. Like, I want to figure out, like, I remember we were kids. There used to be like a rhyme, like a nursery rhyme about Peter Piper packed a pick a peck of, or something
Peter
that
Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers.
Okay, then that's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of something else, like making a plum pie or a figgy pie. It was some little rhyme I remember.
Little Jack Warner.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yes. I don't know. I want a plum pie
over here.
I want a plum pie. Like, I don't know. I think it's a good tasting fruit. I think it has a really nice flavor to it. But
right.
It's funny when I bought it, I'm like, this is something that old people buy to poop. I know that's what it is, but God damn it, they taste good.
Taking the stream off right. This prune talk's got me hard.
Just wait, dude. My next topic is like, I don't know about you, but like I do try and keep my nether regions like trim. Now I didn't
Did you get a Manscaped sponsor?
that's that's where I'm going with this. I kind of hope we can somehow, like, I don't think Manscaped would ever sponsor us, but like we could get like a third tier, like lower level, 1 out of 20 works or blows up in your face kind of like, third party hand versions. But I when I was heavy, like I never gave a shit about this kind of thing. Like it didn't bother me. And then I started losing weight. It's like, okay, now I can actually see it. And now I can actually shape it like a bonsai tree and make it look really cool. And then I just realized, you know what? It feels better bare, if I'm being completely honest. Like I like having chest hair, but like ball and dick hair, like I don't care. Like I don't need it, man.
Dude,
so
you know what my balls in my head have in common? Every 3 days they meet
don't
the
have
razor.
brains.
Every 3 days they meet the razor. Straight razor both.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have shit for brains.
Yeah, I haven't had pubic hair since like 2005, 2006.
Well, this is like a year and a half for me or so. I want to say, I don't know. I haven't really kept track or time of it, but I was trimming it up a week and a half ago, and this is where like it's still bothering me, but like I nicked it. When I was for the first time in a long time, I was using those little pussy trimming shears that I got, and right up along the shaft, hit the fucking seam where the ball bag meets, and like created a wound. That was like a week and a half ago. It still fucking hurts, man. So yeah, we need a lawnmower 2.0 in my future.
Oh, I use straight razor. I mean, I literally use a straight razor.
I've got a bumpy dick. I really do.
Yeah,
That's not me being funny.
I got a bumpy sack. I don't have a bumpy dick, but I got a bumpy sack. Smooth shaft, like goose bumpy balls. I don't know, man. When I bring sharp objects to the crotch region,
oh fuck! I forgot. My chair broke. I don't have a back to my chair. I almost fell right back into the wall. Sorry.
You're gonna get production quality here, friends. But yeah, whenever I bring something sharp to the nether regions, I move with a very steady hand.
Yeah, I have a pretty decent shaft, but like it has got bumpy. You've got bumpy balls. I've got a bumpy shaft, man. That's weird.
Bumpy balls.
So that was all the topics I'd written down, and then I brought up the Apple News feed, and I figured I could just scroll through. I figured we saved the one topic that you wanted to talk about for last. Excuse me. But I figured I'd scroll through the Apple News feed on the iPhone here, and I'd read you off headlines, and you could tell me if you know anything about the headlines and if you could illuminate me to any of them.
Okay.
And I figured I'd just pick out ones that sounded fascinating to me. Tsunami impacts hit West Coast after volcano eruption in Pacific. Stay away from beaches, officials warn, according to USA Today.
Our West Coast? The U.S. West Coast?
That's what it's saying.
Man, I really hope that it doesn't drown the West Coast and remove it from the rest of America. That would suck.
It was 13 minutes ago that happened.
Yeah, no, I don't know about a tsunami that hit the West Coast in 13 minutes ago. And I didn't think we could have tsunamis here. I thought that was below the equator we get tsunamis. I thought above it's a hurricane.
Let me read it. Oh, that's the thing that Joe Rogan posted on his Instagram today. It was an aerial shot of this happening from like a satellite. And I was trying to figure out what the hell it was. And he's like, okay, West Coast authorities pleaded with residents to stay out of the Pacific Ocean and away from beaches on Saturday as the impacts of a tsunami caused by a volcanic eruption in the South Pacific began hitting the coast. Excuse me. While forecasted waves were generally less than 3 feet, tsunami impacts create unpredictable currents and tides that could endanger swimmers and boaters. The waves are expected to arrive in pulses throughout the day. And it's a long article. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. The only thing I'll say on it is I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody is secure inside and nobody gets hurt.
As long as they're vaccinated, I hope they're safe. That's
what's important.
Everybody else, you have it coming to you. Okay. I hope that doesn't get flagged by an algorithm.
You're on the right side. You're on the right side for that. You're good.
Police negotiate. This is from NBC News. You know what Nick Cannon says of NBC. Police negotiate with hostage taker at synagogue in Dallas-Fort Worth. I didn't know anything about that. Oh, that's developing. Never mind. You wouldn't have heard anything about that, I suppose. That's still
Immediately. I want to know the race and political leanings of the person who's got hostages.
okay. Let's go into the article and find out.
That's where my tickled interest comes into play with all these stories.
Oh, I can't wait to read this to you. Authorities in Texas were negotiating with a man holding hostages, including a rabbi and possibly other people, at a synagogue in Dallas, Fort Worth on Saturday afternoon. The man, I'm going to try and do this like a like a real news reporter. I'm going to look at the camera and see if I can go along with it. The man is demanding the release of a federal prisoner who was convicted in 2010 of attempted murder in a terrorism-related case, officials said. Police in Colleyville responded at 10:41 a.m. in the 6100 block of Pleasant Run Road, where the congregation Beth Israel is located. A SWAT team and other law enforcement agencies also responded, they said.
Is that it?
This is long and boring. The senior officials briefed on the situation said the man is holding a rabbi and possibly others hostage. The man told authorities he wants the release of Afia Sadiq from federal prison.
Oh, I bet you he's a white supremacist. I bet you the guy holding these people's white supremacist.
Sadiq, 49, was convicted by a federal jury in 2010 of attempting to kill U.S. officers in Afghanistan and is currently being held at FMC Carswell, a federal prison in Fort Worth, Texas. Law enforcement officials in Texas are trying to determine whether the person holding the rabbi and potentially others hostage is related to Sadiq. So that's developing. So there's nothing right now. But, okay.
One thing we could talk about real quick while we're doing this World in the News, kind of a carry on from our last week's episode of the Bob, the McMaster JRE.
I hadn't. Fantastic. I know you. I know exactly where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so Doug listened to the McMaster JRE and he hit us all up like, "Hey, we need to watch this." It was really good. I watched JRE anyway, so
that's the reason I recommended it. What you're about to I know, yeah, but that's the reason why. It's because that was so like on the nose.
Yeah, and anyway, I have a 2-hour drive to go to work, and so that's when I listen to podcasts usually, and I threw that one on. And I would like to point out that Brothers from the Same Mothers, last week's episode, we had the Russia-China talk, the same exact one on our podcast. We did it first. I just dumped it down for all you pores and yokels.
Oh man, look at you talking shit, man. Okay.
No, but have you been following the Russia things this week?
No, I havenent. With Putin and all that in Ukraine?
So after we podcasted on Sunday, we did the Brothers from Other Mothers. Putin had his troops move closer again, and I thought I sent you the news clip in text of the following morning when the Biden administration put out a presser, and long story short, the presser was, okay, seriously, we want to let everybody know that after this time, if Russia moves any more closer, we're going to seriously thinking about doing something this time.
I remember that.
Well, yesterday, on a Friday, in case you haven't heard, the week for Biden has not been going very well. Old Biden's had a pretty rough week. And yesterday, the government leaked intelligence that Russia planned on attacking themselves. So Putin was going to do a fake attack on his own troops to justify an invasion into Ukraine this weekend. And they released that to the public, and that's been the big headlines for the last 24 hours. I find it very odd that the U.S. intelligence would leak that on a Friday when the news cycle has not been very good for our president. That's all I'm going to say. That's really weird that the intelligence community, who never leaks anything, would leak that on a Friday when the week's been going really bad for the administration.
Explain why, because my brain doesn't follow.
What they're saying, like whether it's true or not, I don't know if it's true or not. Don't care. I mean, I do kind of care if it's true or not, because that could be this could be the start of World War III. But
so wait a minute, right? So if my understanding, like Russia, okay, Putin essentially it was leaked that he tried to attack his own people and blame it. It was going to, and it got thwarted, and he was going to blame it on.
We don't know. It still might happen.
Okay, but he's going to blame it on Ukraine. Is the theory behind it? If I'm
he
right?
could invade.
So he can invade, which would potentially lead into World War III.
Potentially.
You know, it's terrifying, but at the same time, like I'm at that age right now where like I know I don't have much longer left, and like all I'm really giving a shit about is like having fun, having a good laugh, and enjoying myself. And there's a part of me that wants to like think I'd be like Richard Grieco in the '80s, like being like a high school student going over there and like infiltrating Putin's army and like bringing it whole down and that to like a really dope like metal soundtrack.
Well, here's my thought process, because I was, and for those who don't know, I was in military intelligence when I was in. So like whenever the people start blaming the intelligence community, I still have that little bit where I take umbrage, like fuck you, intelligence drives operations. Anyway, I'm so curious as to why this leaked like close to 5 o'clock on a Friday night and what the gain of it is. So it gets the news cycle, which has been Biden's having a bad week, changed to look what Russia's thinking about. They're thinking about attacking themselves. He's going to kill his own troops so he can invade Ukraine. Okay, what do you hope to gain out of that? Because let's first off, we got to examine one of two things: is it true or not? So let's say it is true that was what Putin was going to do, was attack his own troops and invade Ukraine, and we release that information to the world. Do you think Putin is going to be less of an evil dictator or more of an evil dictator?
Do you think we could compete and take down, if we had to, in a hypothetical situation? Do you think the United States, not just the United States as a whole, but like the United States military, our army, our navy, everybody that we have, and the few the allies that we have that you think would be willing to back us, do you think we would ever stand a shot? And I'm asking this because I genuinely don't know enough about world politics or other countries and that, and I'm sure other people would have a different take on it from you, but I'm genuinely curious. Like, would it be a neck and neck with Russia for us? Would it be like a genuine
war? Is that what you're asking? Like an actual hot war?
Like if it broke out to where where Biden actually woke up and said like, all right, now we're going to take action.
So first thing I got to say, I got a caveat before I say what I'm about to say. It's been 10 years since I was in the military, and well, a little bit less than 10 years, but pretty damn close. But a lot from and I'm not inside the military, so I don't know the goings on inside the military. I can only see what I see on the sidelines in the news and what's being reported. Taking the assumption that the military I left is the same military we have today, which I'm assuming it's not that far off. I don't think they could have destroyed the U.S. war machine in 10 years. But we could beat Russia one-on-one every single day, twice on Sunday. If we got into a war with China, the military I left could beat China every day of the week, twice on Sunday. It may not happen in 3 days. It may not be a 3-day war, but we have more capabilities. We have more people. We have more equipment. We have more ammunitions. We have everything. We spend more money on the military than any other country in the world. That's just a fact. That is a fact of what it is. If Russia, China teamed up, the military I left 10 years ago would still win, but it wouldn't be a walk in the park. We storm into Iraq or Afghanistan. We bring the country down in literally 48 hours, and then we occupy it for the next 20 years until we surrender it back to the Taliban. It wouldn't be that scenario. It would be a hard-fought war if they teamed up. It would be a hard-fought war. Lives would be lost regardless of who we went to war with, so that'll suck. But yeah, I mean, I would like to hope that America would still have that might to beat them on one-on-one. I think if China and Russia teamed up, I think it would be a good fight. The thing you got to consider is locations of countries and capabilities. Where the U.S. thrives, and everybody's going to say Paul's a Navy stan. We have the best Navy in the world. We are a blue water Navy. We're a blue water Navy. We can go anywhere in the world and we can be there in 2 days. China is a blue water Navy, but they don't have a lot of experience. They've only gone out on a handful of deployments beyond their waters. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then Russia is the second most capable Navy in the world. They could be anywhere too in a matter of days. I will always give the Marines credit. I think Marines are the best ground pound troops. I think the U.S. has the best Air Force. It's no hidden secret. We got the best Air Force in the world. We got the best. We got Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. We got the best. Space Force, I know nothing about. I know that they fall under the Department of the Air Force.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, that's to answer that question. Yeah, I think we would win. I think it would be a hard time for America though, especially with inflation the way it is right now. Because the first thing that happens during a war is products become scarce because you got to start using everything for the war effort. That's the thing to think about. Think about if we did go to war and we had to ration stuff. Do you think the modern day American would understand rationing and do it and be in like not bitch or moan?
All I can think about is the beginning of not the beginning, like the middle of the pandemic, when they were filming the last Mission Impossible movie, and Tom Cruise had that meltdown on set that was captured on camera with where like one of the PAs wasn't wearing a mask properly. He's like, "We're the goddamn gold standard." That's all. People are losing their lives. You're not wearing a mask. Don't step on this fucking set. We're the goddamn gold standard. That cracked me up when I heard him say that the first time. We're the goddamn gold standard.
I'll tell you what. I'm not a fan of mask mandates, but I understood I understood his emotion at the time. That's what we're talking about is the on-set thing, right?
Yeah.
Movies that weren't being allowed to get made. He went out, funded it, and like bent over backwards to meet the compliance of the regulations. All these people could have jobs because you got to think about it. When a movie's made, there's only like 5 actors in it. The rest of everybody's either a set designer, production, costume.
Oh, I get it. I get it, but I'm just thinking about back to those time that particular time, which doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was almost 2 years ago now. And I think about like when you say like we're gonna people aren't expecting to ration. It's like when I remember when we went through Hurricane Charlie when we both lived in Florida, how nobody was prepared for that because we hadn't had a hurricane in so goddamn long. And then Hurricane Charlie came, and like a day before it hit, batteries were sold out, water was sold out, you couldn't get gas anywhere. Like you came home with shotguns that the night after the storm had left, and because people were stealing copper and AC units for the money and shit for the copper out of them. And I was thinking about how crazy those times were, and then the next couple of years, the next few hurricanes that came along, we were a little bit better prepared. People kind of built up a supply over the time.
Once you become used to it, you're good at it.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, at what point is that gonna stick though? It feels like it sticks for a certain amount of time, and then people start easing off the gas and like, all right, we're comfortable. Shit's gonna be fine.
It's called the 9/11 patriotic syndrome. Remember after 9/11, every car had a flag in the window. Everybody cried when Proud to Be an American would play. Like everybody was patriotic. Now if you listen to Proud to Be an American, you're a bigoted racist because it's a Trump song. And if you fly a flag, you're a fascist. And you know what I mean? Like that's just who it's weird. Here's the thing to think about. If we went to war with China, where does all of our shit we buy come from?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's the crazy part. So I mean, I don't want war. I never hope for war.
Well, it's like Nike and people who don't get me wrong, I wear Nike shit, but like I mean I don't have personal feelings or emotions attached to a product or an entity the way people do. Like when it comes to Nike, like I guess what I'm trying to say is like how Nike released that Kaepernick advertisement when all that stuff happened in the beginning of Kaepernick. And people were pointing out the hypocrisy of like, yeah, but Nike uses slave labor, like to do some of their products. So it's like, at what point is you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm all over the map right now.
I get what you're saying though.
I don't get what I'm saying. I don't even get what I'm saying. But let's move on to something lighthearted and fun. All right, I'm gonna keep scrolling down. Okay.
Sure.
And we'll find something good. There's a lot of SNL shit here. John Goodman says his SNL audition was the worst thing I've ever done. And below that, it says 45 years ago, Bill Murray makes his uncomfortable SNL debut. I actually enjoy Bill Murray SNL quite a bit, like the old SNL with Bill Murray on it.
Yeah, I mean the 70s I thought were good. I mean, I haven't watched them in a long time, but I mean,
I don't think they hold up as well for I don't think they'd hold up. I don't think they'd hold up for anybody today, but people like you and me like at least get some of the jokes.
Yeah, it would be nostalgia for us.
Yeah,
like because we watched a lot of it. Like now, I haven't watched SNL in years. For me, the highlights of SNL years are the couple years Eddie Murphy was there in the '80s. He brought that show back from the brink because it was about to get canceled in the early '80s, and he single-handedly saved it. And then it's no hidden secret, I love the early '90s. I love the Sandler, Spade, Farley. I love that cast. And I think the last watchable version of SNL was, Anna Gaster, um, Will Ferrell, Molly
Excuse me.
Shannon. I think that was the last watchable cast.
I've certainly loved SNL throughout the years. I have more favorites than others. Like there's that one season in the '80s with it's Anthony Michael Hall, Robert Downey Jr.
That was 82. That was early before Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. John Cusack's sister Joan was in the cast for a period. Like that season, I thought was garbage. That was the one where
It was about to get canceled.
Lauren Michaels. It was the season where Lauren Michaels let the one he wasn't on.
82 and 83 were the two he wasn't on. That was those years.
I certainly liked them all the way up to like Bill Hader, Andy Samberg, all those guys, and Lonely Island sketches. Like I love the SNL digital shorts. I love that stuff.
I didn't like those SNL years, but I would seek out the Adam Samberg stuff. You know what I mean, like the digital shorts and shit like that.
I loved Will Forte. I still love Will Forte. I think
like Will Forte.
His SNL stuff I thought was some of my favorite stuff. But like I will say this is where SNL started going downhill for me. You could compare it comparatively, but like they started to gain traction when Trump was elected, and they brought in that murderer Alec Baldwin to make fun of him for 4 years. And I'm just kidding. That probably didn't go over as a good joke. Anyway, that I thought those first year or two was when that was going on was actually pretty funny. Like I actually thought the sketches were funny. I thought Weekend Update was fucking solid. And the last year and a half, I'd say when Shane Gillis got fired, and I'm not saying this because I like Shane Gillis, but I'm saying this in relation to the time frame. When he got fired, they hired Bowen Yang, the gay Asian gentleman who's on the show now.
Yeah, they got hired together, and
they got hired together. Okay,
got hired together.
When Bowen Yang made his debut on the show, you have to understand something. Our dad and I watched SNL as a thing. It was like it was our kind of weird bonding thing where like we'd both watch it and then call each other the next day or text with each other for like 2 years straight, talking about what jokes we liked in Weekend Update, like what we thought of like the cold opening and these jokes that they did against this politician and that politician. And they were hitting on both sides of the aisle. It was those first 2 years of Trump as president on SNL were very down the middle as far as poking fun at everybody. And then Trump, 2 years into the presidency, you could see people starting to become fucking unhinged when they couldn't get him on the Russian thing and they couldn't get him on. Like you'd watch one new thing after another. The Mueller probe. This is where we're going to get him. We're going to impeach the son of a bitch. We're going to impeach the motherfucker. Like it just kept rolling on, and you could see it start to wear on certain people. And SNL was one of those shows where when Bowen Yang's debut happened, you could see. For me anyway, I could see the clear change in the writing. It was all very left. It was, and I'm not saying that as like some well, you're a conservative now or you're a conspiracy. It's not that. It's like genuinely the writing was like, we're gonna fuck up Trump and anybody who likes Trump, and we're gonna poke fun at these motherfuckers. And the sketches started becoming ultra like in your face wokeism. And I'm not against wokeism. I'm not against people being woke. I'm not against people wanting to better themselves or be decent people to other people. I think you should be that. I just don't think you should use it as an agenda for a sketch show. And that's really what it became. And it's the last 2 years of that show are unwatchable. Pete Davidson, who I used to enjoy quite a bit, I think has become a fucking cartoon on that show. Having listening to him saying like so many times, I want to quit the show, I want to leave the show, and then he just stays on the show and just becomes unfunnier and unfunnier. It's frustrating, man. I don't know how I got on that rant. I apologize.
I apologize. Who gives a shit?
But yeah, SNL. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving forward, here's one that I don't. This is a headline I don't want to read, but it's something that you and I definitely could talk about, and it's an unfortunate. I'm not even going to read the headline because it's a sad headline. I'm just going to say it. We lost America's dad this week, and it sucks, man. It sucks that Bob Saget passed away.
I agree. I mean, Full House. I was a TGIF kid.
We both were. It was you had something to look forward to on Friday, man.
I would definitely say that time period, my two favorite shows on TV were Number one was probably Family Matters, but a not too distant second was Full House. Like I
Whatever
love,
happened to the...
yeah, and I tell you what, I think Netflix bringing Fuller House out, I thought has been one of the better uh, like reboots or bringbacks if you want. But anyway, besides the point. Bob's but Bob Saget was so versatile that nobody really get. All people say is Full House, but America's Funniest Home Videos ran for years.
I was the original Tosh 2.0. It was the original every one of those kind of shows that came after it. That was the template for it.
And I remember like pre-internet days, like you always heard myth of how dirty and raunchy a stand-up comedy was, and then either one of your friends or your older brother got a VHS copy of one of his stand-up acts, and then you watched it and you like, me and John Stamos used to fuck Kimmy Gibbler between takes. Like that shit was hilarious. I remember being a young kid, like not really understanding it, but knowing it was fucking hilarious. Yeah, so Bob's, and then if you ever watched Entourage, he was fucking hilarious on Entourage. I heard he had his own show here at the end that I haven't heard about. It was like on Amazon Prime or something like that. He actually had his own TV show that. Yeah, the only reason I know about it is because Dave Portnoy, when the news broke that he passed, Dave Portnoy brought up the Bob Saget episode.
Everybody did.
When the show was on. Like, well, he just played it, you know what I mean? Like, re-uploaded it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like everybody that's the thing. Like I noticed the day he died because I saw Portnoy's, and the day he died, I saw that, and like everybody that had ever had him on a show for an interview got re-uploaded. Ari got re-uploaded. What WTF with Mark Maron's got re-uploaded. Like, yeah, it's a bummer, and he was great on bumping mics. That was my last thing I remember seeing him on was on the Netflix bumping mics with David Tell.
And I was just gonna say, like, for those who don't know, me and Doug are huge fans of stand-up comedy. Like, we really enjoy watching stand-up. And one thing I noticed this week, just in passing, of like, watching my normal stand-up shows, I've heard so many people talk about Bob Saget, and I've heard gay comedians, black comedians, white straight comedians, like Spanish comedians. Everybody I've heard talk about Bob Saget have all said the same words. Great human being, caring, loving person. Like it's just weird how like you're hearing the same words out of every single one. Nobody had a bad word to say about Bob Saget. So I mean, yeah, it's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, right after Norm. Jesus.
Norm, I cried. I'm man enough to admit it. I shed tears when I found out Norm Macdonald passed.
I'm not lying when I say I spent the following week after his death listening to his albums on Spotify and then watching all of the compilations on YouTube of his YouTube show that he had with Adam Egret, the talent coordinator at the Comedy Store. And I laughed so hard, and like you, I cried and laughed because like you cry because there's hours. I mean, a fucking lifetime of hours of material on YouTube. If you just want to sit and listen to like one of the most brilliant human beings that ever lived, the funniest, naturally funniest human beings who didn't live a life where it's like, hey, like I've got cancer for 9 years. Look at me. Like just said, fuck it. It's about the joke. It's about the laugh. It's about living. Like I sat and watched so many hours and didn't realize how much stuff I had missed of his. And god damn it, like his YouTube show, like I don't know if I have the hours in my life to go and watch every episode.
Well, the YouTube channel, are you talking about I'm Not Norm?
Yeah, where he's with Adam.
Him. Like that's not him. That's his friend who. It's a female redhead who was a friend.
Okay, then it's not that one. Then it's not that one.
That's that. I go down wormholes where I'll throw on I'm Not Norm, the channel with their playlists, because they do like Norm talks about OJ, and it's the clips from Weekend Update in like 40 minutes, where it's just 40 minutes of clips from Weekend Update about him just railing on OJ or Hillary Clinton or this or that, and it's just. I hit play and I'll just sit there and like fuck around on my phone while that's playing in the background and listen to it for hours.
The show I'm talking about was kind of like a late night show, like on a small studio set.
Yeah. It's that was a Netflix show. It was.
Well, he also continued it on YouTube though. Like when the show got taken off, like he did it on his YouTube channel with Adam Egret. Him and Adam hosted it from like I think it was the Jash Network or a UPN, something like that. And he would have guests on, like serious guests and shit, and he'd have them read jokes that other people wrote, and they were the most offensively horrible. It fucking cracks me up, man. But yeah, that was a shitty one. Losing Norm. Rest in peace to him and Bob. All right, scrolling down. God, he was just talking about this. Kanye West dragged Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson's relationship in a new interview. How you gonna bring me to SNL and kiss the dude you dating right in front of me? I used to be able to do a good impression of Kanye. Then directly under that, the next article is Kanye West swipes at Kim Kardashian's new boyfriend Pete Davidson on a leaked track. How awesome would it be if Kanye West just beat the fuck out of Pete Davidson?
I mean, if you're asking me, what do I think? How do I think it would be?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking? I would think pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Holy fuck! Dude.
I don't give a shit about any of it, to be honest with you.
I'm going to go because I rewatch a lot of like Legion. I watch Legion of Skanks so much, and I'm going to go back through the last 2 weeks worth of episodes and pull out. I'm going to screen grab and make a super cut for you and everybody else in the group of every time Big J or Dan Soder was a guest on last week's episode. Him and Big J spent 15, 20 minutes talking about the New Year's Eve thing that Miley and Pete did, and then they did impressions, their Pete Davidson impressions back to back, and it was so fucking hilarious, man. And that was one of the things. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Miley Cyrus is here. I think I'm gonna take her backstage when her top falls off and fucking silly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll do that.
I've been somebody clipped out the Louis J. Gomez roast, and they like broke it out between the people who were doing the roast, and I've been watching all those lately, and like, I know I'm a Shane Gillis stan. I know I simp for Shane Gillis all the time.
Great.
But when he walks up to the mic and he goes, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't write anything for this because it is gay. Like I can't. I laugh from that point until the point he walks off. Like,
yeah, that's the people call you behind your back. They call you butt dog Bobby, dude.
Butt dog Bobby.
You want to have a good laugh? Go on HBO and watch Dan Cook's Tourgasm and watch Bobby be Dan Cook's butt dog.
And then there's Ari. He's old. I mean, like, yeah, he's like really old.
I'd like to thank your people for the weather tonight. Let's see. CNN unearths audio of Kevin McCarthy saying Trump admitted responsibility for the riot on January 6th.
Oh, yeah. CNN, the most trusted name in something, I'm sure. I don't fucking know. I have a running list. It's become a joke in our chat. I'm like up to 1,262 reasons why I will never trust CNN again. So if CNN says it, fuck it. Okay. And who cares? Who cares about 9/11 times 1,000? I'm over that day now.
Here's one other one I'll read you, and because this, and this will segue into something you want to talk about, which we can go ahead and finish out the episode since we've got about 20 minutes left. The headline of this Vanity Fair article is "Cringing Little Liberal Brett Kavanaugh is suddenly the right's new punching bag." I'm not going to read the article. I don't care what the article has to say, but I'm assuming you would know what they're alluding to.
Yeah. So we talked about it last week, vaccine mandates. They were supposed to do a decision on Monday. We got the decision on Thursday. I don't want to call myself the Oracle, but if we go back to a tail of the tape from last week, I believe somebody said for sure 100% the 100 plus vaccine mandate was going to get shot down, and I said I don't know, it could go either way on the medical one. I said Roberts and Kavanaugh, they're really wishy-washy, and it's a coin flip on how they would vote. Amy Coney Barrett, I think, would vote in favor, but I didn't know. Guess what? I predicted it exactly how it was going to play out, because the Supreme Court doesn't rule on the law anymore. They rule on the politics going on. And everybody thinks if you're appointed by a Republican justice, you should be able to make Republican decisions. If you're appointed by a liberal president, you should make liberal decisions. That's not the function of the Supreme Court. You should follow the Constitution. So how it plays out is the Supreme Court is 3 liberal justices to 6 Republican. So if everybody voted for their politics the way that everybody says that it's supposed to happen, nothing would ever not be conservative from the Supreme Court. It would always get defeated in a 6-3 ruling. Well, the 100 plus got defeated in a 6-3 ruling. All Republicans said it's unconstitutional. all liberals said, yeah, the government can do whatever it wants to its citizen whenever it wants. Uh, so that got shot down. And I mean, we could talk about it, but it's unconstitutional that the federal government can't do it. Uh, and then with the medical one, I'm still upset. So for all who, if there's any doctors or nurses or people who drive people around at hospitals watching, I'm sorry that your government has proved they don't give a shit about you and your profession, because if you are a doctor or a nurse in America and you work for a hospital that takes Medicare or Medicaid, you have to be vaccinated or you lose your job. So, and that was Brett Kavanaugh and Roberts. Roberts always is a coin flip on any decision, which is good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Kavanaugh has shown himself to be a coin flip on any decision, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I have no hatred to Brett Kavanaugh. And I said last week on the episode, I said, the federal government has an argument. I don't like their argument, but they do have an argument, so it could go either way. And what should scare everybody, and because everybody knows I'm a small government, free libertarian, government shouldn't tell you what you do. What should scare you is the reason that the healthcare worker mandate went through is because you know about Medicare and Medicaid, right?
I know there are things, there are entities.
Okay, Medicare is once you're retired and you're collecting Social Security, that's you can apply for Medicare as an old person, get approved, and you'll have medical insurance. It's the federal government flips the bill for Medicare, but they don't pay, like, you don't get the money from the federal government. The federal government gives Medicare money to the state, and then you apply to the state for the Medicare when you're old. Medicaid is the same thing, but for poor people. And I don't say poor people has like a demoralizing statement. Everybody goes through hard times in life. Sometimes everybody's in a position where they need help, and that's what Medicaid is there for. And I don't say poor has a disparaging thing. So, by the way, I'm getting a little tipsy on beer number 4.
I forgot you were drinking. I'm so hot.
I'm on beer 4.
Okay. I kind of want to have a beer now. God damn it. I'm going to have to buy. That's what we should do on Saturdays. I'll pick up a sixer, and I'll only do it once a month. Once a month when we record, I'll pick a Saturday and I'll get a sixer from up at the gas station, and you and I'll crush beers. We'll crush Bud Lights together.
Yeah, and I don't even like Bud Light. I'm doing this for the fucking joke.
I don't either. I don't give a shit, but I'd rather buy cheap beer because I'm not getting my dead.
I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. You can't hold it over for me forever. We need to bridge the gap, and we need to heal. We need to heal. I'm sorry your father's dead, and it could possibly be my fault. I apologize. So anyway, so that's what Medicare and Medicaid is. And the reason the Supreme Court ruled in this favor is they said, okay, the federal government pays for Medicare and Medicaid. It's coming out of the federal budget. So the federal government should have the ability to make rules for what they pay for, to include giving people in the medical field a medical procedure that can't be undone. I thought the argument that was going to win it for healthcare workers were, it's not because they were like, well, Medicare and Medicaid says you always have to wear gloves when working with a patient. They say you have to wear a mask when you're doing surgery. Why is this any different? And the state's attorney, like meaning the coalition of states, said, well, it's different because you can't take a vaccine off at the end of the day, which I thought was a very, very articulated argument. Didn't work. Roberts and Kavanaugh said no go. Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, and Coney Barrett all said, no, it's unconstitutional. You can't force fluid into somebody's body, regardless of who it is. Roberts, Kavanaugh, and then the 3 liberal justices begged to differ when it came to stuff that the federal government was paying for. And that was the argument that won it for that side. Why that should scare America is because that's setting the precedence to say anytime the government wants to do something to anybody, all they got to do is find a weak-ass excuse where they somewhere along the line pay for it. Like, okay, if you're unvaccinated, you can't drive on any road in America anymore because we provide the states federal funding to fix their roads, and we're not going to have unvaccinated people on the roads. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that can start happening.
What are they? Wasn't it? I was seeing on YouTube in France that is it France or Australia where they're now maybe it's both of them
Australia's been bad for a long time. Like they've been like they're sending people They're sending people to quarantine camps. They're
Oh, I've
sending
been
people
watching. I've been
quarantine camps.
I've been watching videos of like cops showing up to like residential property or like cell phone cams of like wives recording like their husbands' confrontations with like Australian police showing up to their residence and be like, "You're not in compliance." He's like, "This is my private fucking property, mate. What do you fucking do right now?" I'm like, "This shit is crazy, man." And that's fucking Australia. Those motherfuckers are insane.
Canada, in Quebec, well, not the whole country of Canada, but in the province of Quebec, last week,
Yeah.
Francis Legault, their prime minister, which is like, I guess, governor is the equivalent to what we have for Quebec, made it to where you couldn't leave your home if you're unvaccinated. You
It's
can't
fucking
walk out. You
mind-blowing.
can't walk out the front door. Like, come on,
So
like
if you can't go to work,
even if you're have the vaccine and you're pro-vaccine, you if you have I have no problem if you have the vaccine, and I have no problem if you want people to get the vaccine. I think that's great that you care about people and you think it helps the population. Science says it doesn't, and if you close your eyes to it, that's one thing. But I don't care. I get you want the vaccine, and I have no problem with you getting it. But if you say, I think the government should imprison people, force something into their body, or they cannot work, they can't feed their children, and they can't be a part of common society, you're one of two things. You're either stupid or you're evil. And I hope if you're in that position, you're listening to me, because now if you truly believe that the government should have that kind of authority, you need to figure out, are you stupid or are you evil? Because it's one of the two.
yeah, shit is fucking crazy, man. It feels like a fucking cartoon. Like I sent the article in the group text about the thing that was posted on. It wasn't just Rolling Stone. It was Deadline. It was everybody. Slashdot. Fucking hundreds of doctors signed a petition to ask Spotify to remove Joe Rogan. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like this is my incredible argument. Like, I'm not saying he's ever said this, but like somebody like our father who watches CNN and MSNBC and has strong opinions on this. You know, somebody who would watch CNN but not listen to Joe Rogan, but just hear what CNN or somebody has like that has to say about him in like a 4 to 5 minute clip and be like, you listen to Rogan? He's a fucking idiot. What do you think about that? That guy's a fucking moron. Don't you know what he talks about? And be like, yeah, I spend the 3.5 hours listening. And that's the mind-boggling thing, is how people want to have such strong opinions but not take the time to actually hear what's really happening. Now, I don't think that's real. I think people are smarter than that. I think most people don't buy into this shit that's being fed to us, but there is enough of a small percentage. I would say a small percentage on the same end of QAnon that there was for QAnon people. You know what I mean? Like that fringe fucking out population.
Agreed. And
it's insane to me that it's being force fed like this, like with absolute fervor, thinking that it's going to turn the tides, and it's not. It's just making shit worse.
And I really quickly wanted to say something where I just said the dumb or evil thing. I want you to know that doesn't mean I hate you. I don't hate you. I love you as a human being. The problem we have as a society is honest discord can't happen anymore. We can't have a civil conversation with two sides. And it's actually kind of sad and sickening. It really, really is. But I just don't understand this wanting to censor everybody if they don't agree with your opinions. This mob rule mentality, it makes no sense to me. And what kills me is you just keep watching Joe Rogan's numbers going up and you keep watching all the mainstream media numbers going down. The numbers just got released this week. CNN over the last year has lost 90% of their viewership. They averaged 900,000 people a year ago. Think about that. I really want you to think about that. Last year, they were doing good, 900,000. I can go on YouTube right now to the like videos that got put out today by the top creators that I guarantee are over 6 million already and have only been out for a couple hours. Like, nobody's watching terrestrial news. Anyway, the numbers just came out. They're now CNN's below an average of under 100,000. 100,000 people. Why does CNN still have the power it does?
But why do they keep going on with the narrative that they keep going on with? Like, this is what I don't understand.
Because they know Trump's still a threat to run in the next election, and they feel they need to proposition their fear porn because they think they stopped Trump from getting elected this year. They think, in their heads, they think CNN is the reason Trump didn't get elected last time. And if they stop now, it's going to happen again, and then we're going to be under white supremacy rule.
Can I tell you something? There's a very real part of me that hopes he runs again with Lindsey Graham as his vice president, because Shane Gillis's next hour would be so great.
So everybody knows I voted for Trump. I'm not. I was fine with Trump. I had no problems with Trump, but I'm not like a MAGA or die kind of guy. Like, if Trump ran again, would I vote for him? Probably. Personally,
I just want the entertainment back in my life.
Personally, and I know Bob's here. Personally, I'd like to see Bob's governor run, but I don't think he's gonna. I think he likes being the governor of Florida because he's good at being the governor of Florida.
Yeah, how long can you be governor though?
Yeah, it depends on the state if they have term limits.
Does Florida have term limits?
I have no idea.
Or can it be a Putin thing where he just keeps going for decades?
I have no idea. Some states, you're governor when you win the election. You're governor for 6 years. Some you're for 4 years. Bob, if you know, what's Florida? Is Florida 4 years or is it 6 years? If you can answer that, Bob, if you know, please answer in the chat. But also, Bob, while I know you're watching, I just got somebody new liked me on Tinder. I just got the notification that I have a like on Tinder. So
can you wrap? Can you put both hands around your dick or just one? Be honest. Fully around your dick. Can you put both hands around your dick fully like this?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah. There ain't
soft
much
hard.
Hard. There ain't much poking out, but yeah, I can.
I gotta get. Oh, God damn it! I gotta figure out Tinder.
Motherfucker, it's not about looks. Getting laid and like meeting women, it's about personality. And I'm not saying like I'm a dog.
I've got a shitty personality.
I'm not saying like I'm a dog that just sleeps around. Here's how Tinder works. And it's not that I'm not looking for a relationship and I just want hookups. It always goes something like this. Start talking. Usually where I'm located in America, every female on Tinder is divorced with 2 kids and is a nurse. And they're 24. It's like literally if you look on Tinder in our area, that's what you're going to find. 24 to 35, 2 kids, divorced. And I've always said this is a joke. I've always said this is a joke when I was in the military. I always said I'm not the guy that women want to date. I'm the guy that women want to secretly fuck. And like I say it jokingly, but it's kind of true. Like women just kind of want to sleep with me
because they've got no self-respect or standards.
Whatever it is, I don't know. And
I've never had that.
I'll tell you what. I've had periods in my life where it's bummed me out, and I felt like good luck Chuck. Like I would see a girl for a few weeks, sleep with her. We'd be like mildly dating, and then like her next relationship is like the love of her life, and I'm just like, maybe I've got a magic dick.
My brother is a schlubby David Duchovny. That's the episode title.
Nothing like that. But I would like to say that if you are looking to get into it, my best advice of online dating is just be honest and be respectful.
I have zero desire. I be honest. I will be honest. Like I'm at a point now where I'm very comfortable with jerking off and shit like that. But like I don't need to bring other people into the mix. We're good. I think we're good. Like I know my physical limitations, man. Like I ain't getting any younger. I'm getting worse as I get older, and it's not like it was when I was younger. It's just not as much of a thrill for me. I'm more fascinated by your situation because you're my younger brother, and it's this isn't.
I live in a trailer with 2 dogs in the middle.
It's fucking mind-boggling how somebody pulls up. Somebody who lives 30 to 50 miles away from you pulls up to your fucking trailer and looks around and says, "This could be the last night of my life, or it could be the start of something special." It's fucking.
All joking aside, besides being like really poor, white, trashy, which I know I made fun of John for on the last week, but I really do live a poor, white, trashy life. I'm clean. My property's clean. Like, if you got to admit, it's nice out here. It's nice.
But it's not the point of it being nice. It's the point of if I didn't know you and I met you on Tinder and I drove all that way and I pulled up to your trailer and I looked around at the vicinity, that's the first thing that would go through my mind was pepper spray check.
I want you to know. I want you to know before like any discussions of ever meeting up or coming out here or anything like that, and they do always come out here. That is kind of weird. Now, that is kind of.
You're lazy. You're not a generous lover, dude, at all. If you're not willing,
I always volunteer to go to them, but they have kids. That's always the hang up. Is they've got children. I have no problem meeting. I have no problem with dating a woman with kids. For God's sake, you just saw the relationship I was in for a year that I got out of.
You still got the guitar?
Yeah, I still got the guitar.
I was thinking of
Sit next to my bed.
Big Jay Okerson bit about how growing up he'd be a fat kid watching his single mom go from guy to guy. He's like, some guy just shows up that I don't know. He says, "Hey, here's $20 a Nintendo game. Oh yeah, give me another $10 and I'll have my mom prime for you, mister. I'll leave you alone for the entire night." Some guy sitting on my mom's couch with a guitar playing her shitty renditions of Lady.
Yeah, but I do want to tell you that before we get into the conversation of them coming here, before that even comes, like they see pictures of my place. I explain what it is. I am 100% honest and upfront. Like that cracked watching last week's episode with Bob cracked me up when I sent him the picture because I said I didn't want to share it on air, and I sent it to him. Like when he looked at it, he goes, "These are real pictures of you." Like he was expecting me to pull like a John and use like a 10-year-old picture. I'm like, yeah,
you're like.
Yeah, and my write up is like, I'm a conservative. If that matters to you, I'm sorry. Like, I don't care what you are. I'm willing to talk to anybody.
My name's Doug. Things about me. I'll be 42 in April. I've never been married or have kids. I play video games, like comic books, and I'm 420 friendly. I've never grown up. I had to have my shadow stitched to me.
Doug, that's where you would clean house. The 420. There is a lot of and like it's in their profile. It starts with 420 friendly. I don't get play from those girls.
Yeah, but neither would I. And I'll tell you, I know why. I know exactly that I wouldn't. And it's not having anything to do with me, but like from personal experiences of like trying to hang out with like stoner chicks that I thought were cute, like crunchy granola chicks with fucking dreadlocks and smelled awful. Like that was always my bread. Oh God, that was always my thing. Like I love chicks like that, but like inevitably you get high with them and then like it just turns about like let's listen to music, let's fucking laugh with each other. Like it's never about sex. And and you're okay with that because you're fucking stoned, but like that's really what that would be. Like to me, Tinder is about trying to. It's not a like I want to. It's not Match.com. It's Tinder. I want to fuck. That's exactly what it's always been explained.
It really that's what it is. And with I go through periods where it's like, man, I do want to get in a relationship, but up here, getting in a relationship means you have to go to a bar every single night.
Yep.
You have to get drunk every single night. And like as I'm now killing my fourth beer, as that's happening, Doug, do I ever drink?
No.
This is like the only time I drink is in the summer times after I'm done mowing my property. I like to have a beer or two after mowing. This is my first beer since like September, early September.
I never cared for the taste of beer. I would drink. I mean, I didn't mind Corona or Heineken but I had to be in the mood for one. I would totally do the. I don't know if it'd be once a month. I might do it once just for the show.
This is
but
like water to me.
Alcohol in general is just something I don't really want to fuck with. For a couple of reasons. One, because of my habits, but two, like empty calories. My mentality is just like, don't put that shit in your body, man. For what? For the joke? Do it like I said. Do it.
It's right.
You're fucking stupid.
It's light, which in the beer world means diet. This is diet bud.
Okay.
That's why, and I'll tell you, that's what I respect about John. Like, I like Budweiser, and my man says, fuck the calories, I'm going full flavor. And I respect it. I respect it.
Oh, fuck, man. Well, should we call it? Because I like to take a leak, and I got some things I want to take.
Dude, I don't care. I mean, like, if you want to go longer and go pee real quick, I don't care. If you want to kill it now, we can kill it now. It doesn't matter.
Let's kill it now. I think an hour is a good. We're at an hour, and I think that's good. And I don't really have anything else to talk about, and you don't have any topics. We've got tomorrow morning. We got to start thinking about. I got to start coming up with ideas for tomorrow. Which one of the things? Okay, Bob's watching. One of the things. What was this? Would we say one of the?
I don't know if he's watching anymore. I don't know if he's watching anymore. He hasn't responded in chat.
Oh, okay.
And it says there's only 2 people watching right now. So.
Oh, okay.
And God bless you. Whoever you two are watching, God bless you. I mean, if you want to jump in chat, you totally can. I don't care.
Peacemaker. I want to talk about Peacemaker. I don't know if
I'll watch it. I got a little buzz going on right now. I'll let the dogs out to go piss.
Dude.
And we'll come in and we'll watch Peacemaker.
Episode 2 is where it picks up. When you're gonna fall in love with his sidekick, Eagly. Literally, it's not something for the trailer. It is literally like a realistic looking CGI eagle that is his sidekick. That is so fucking great. You're gonna love Eagly, the symbol of freedom.
Don't forget to check us out on Facebook.
Wow, you're fucking drunk, dude.
On Twitter, we're bros from Mott One, I think.
I thought you were going to bring it up on the screen. Isn't that what you wanted everybody to text you in the chat? Come on, send me the links, guys, so I can put it up.
That's on the YouTube side when it's done.
I thought you were going to have it pop up on it. But technically, we don't have our Twitter. That's the other show. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, we're still on the Brothers from Other Mothers channel.
Yeah, but fuck those guys. This is our thing. I'm kidding.
It's our thing until they show up, and we'll bring them in every single fucking time.
Yeah, but see, this was my wish, my dream, and it didn't come true.
Down here, it's our time. That's all over once you go up Troy's stupid bucket.
Now I want to watch the Goonies. That was one of the movies.
Wait, explain. Hold on, real quick.
Can you bring that image up? Is there a way
if you emailed it to me?
Fuck. All right, never mind.
Explain to me the Instagram thing, because I don't quite fully understand what happened.
Let me bring it up so I can get everything legit. I don't want to fuck anything up. Okay, so
Big Tech is silencing Doug for all those.
No, they're not silencing me.
There was a white supremacist.
There's an Instagram account I follow called Insta80s 90s. And I'm sure there's a lot of these kind of Instagram accounts that are just promoted to like get you to engage with like your pop culture nostalgia or your world. It's just it's all the same stupid shit. But sometimes I'll play into them. Sometimes they'll have like, hey, here's a screenshot from a classic 80s movie. Which movie is it? And I'll be like the first person to comment on it. Like, this is the right answer. And then people will start commenting below me and shit. And it'll like inevitably I'll have these posting back and forth with movie. It
bothers you that they post after you and then they don't
Sure.
right?
Keep drinking your beer there, Slushy McSlusherson. Anyway, Insta 80s 90s posted this image, this meme image, and it says one has to go. And then it was the poster for Back to the Future, the Goonies, the Karate Kid, or Ghostbusters.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah, it is a tough one, right? And I commented on that post, and my comment was one of like 20 at the time. It just got posted, and I wrote, "I'd strangle my grandma before I cut one of these. ... Strangle her with hugs because I'm not a monster." That post immediately got back to me, and it said, "Your content has been removed. It has been flagged by our technology for going against our community guidelines. Our guidelines encourage people to express themselves in a way that's respectful to everyone. If you think we made a mistake, you can ask us to review this decision. Our guidelines on violence and incitement, physical. We don't allow content that may lead to a genuine risk to physical harm or direct threat to person or public safety." So me saying that I'd strangle my dead grandma of 20 plus years was inciting physical violence, apparently.
I personally think it sounds like a Donald Trump racist dog whistle. I get why the algorithm flagged that.
I'd strangle my grandma before I cut one of these. Strangle her with hugs because I'm not a monster. You can't read into the irony. Like, it's amazing to me. Like, when we started doing Brothers from Other when we started doing Brothers from Other Mothers, I remember like pretty quickly on, I got freaked out about like offending people because one of not yours, you don't know them, but the other John and Bob's we got feedback from some mutual friends about, some people aren't going to understand that some of the things you guys are joking about is ironic or it has a sense of irony. And I'm just like, I look at this shit and I'm like, this is the same kind of comment as far as I'm concerned. And it befuddles me that I live in a world where I have to, as a 41-year-old person, walk on eggshells because another human being doesn't understand when I'm being ironic. Like, even when I go out of my way to say something as dumb as strangle her with hugs because I'm not a monster. Are you fucking stupid? Like, I'm living in a fucking stupid clown world right now. I'm getting fucking worked up, man.
Bro, you're preaching to the choir here, man. Here's the thing I want. I want what's called equal rights, all right? And let me explain.
I just want to joke.
I want equal rights. I want everybody to say whatever the fuck they want to whoever the fuck they want without fear of death, imprisonment, or fines from their government. I want that. I want that for people. That's what I want. And we have that. And this words hurt me, and I've got to go up in a closet. Man, I say this with as much love as I possibly can. Toughen up, Buttercup. Like,
you remember?
really, stop it. Just stop. I want that Michael Jordan meme. That just stop it.
I remember Grandma. I oddly enough, I remember Grandma Clean saying one. I remember one day I got really upset with. I want to say it was one of our cousins, and I don't recall the context of what got me upset, but I remember crying to my Grandma Clean about it, and I remember Grandma Clean looking at me and saying, I remember hearing her say this to me. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. You need to realize that you're tougher than you think. You got to let that shit, essentially saying to me, you got to let that shit in one ear, not the other. And it's somewhere along the line, like, people lost that sensibility. Like, it really, like, don't get me wrong. Bullying is a real thing. Certain people aren't raised in the proper environments, and they get left to their own devices. And sometimes those people's devices turn into be ugly pieces of shit. Bullying is real. If people getting their feelings hurt, people physically getting hurt, people killing themselves, I'm not disputing that. But regulating the idea of communication, that goes over this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Well,
and especially when it comes to when people are clearly saying, hey, I'm off the bat, just having a laugh, man. I'm just fucking around. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
None of this is weight to it unless you give it weight.
I can't tell you how many times I've been called a bigot.
To
No, I was burping. I can't tell you how many times I've been called a white supremacist, Hitler, shit like that, all because I have conservative values. And I get it. My values don't align with yours. And like, people are like, literally, I've had people scream at me, like, especially when I was on social media, like back in 2015. I'm like, this is nuts. And my thing is, you realize, like, I am the biggest ally, because I truly do want you to be equal. I don't want anybody to be persecuted for their beliefs, for their sexual orientation, for the color of their skin. But I also don't want you on a pedestal with special rights. And that's the problem. People don't want equal rights. They want special rights. Who's the bigger victim? Like, all I hear is, well, I'm oppressed and I'm marginalized. What do you mean by oppressed and marginalized? Well, people call me this and people call me that, fag, queer, shit. And I'm like, that's terrible. I'm like, you just called me a Nazi. You just called me a white supremacist. Like, how is that different? Shut up, you angry bigot. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a victim mentality. I get it.
It's like when Ari was talking about on the JRE, the Cuddle Party crew, when Ari yesterday was talking about how after a show there was one lady waiting outside to tell him he was a piece of shit and an asshole, and she was like, for what? Because I told a Holocaust joke. And she like, this person heard him tell a Holocaust joke, waited for him, and waited to tell him a piece of shit. Now, she's in her right to do that, but I find it hilarious to not only tell a Jewish comedian that he can't joke about the Holocaust, but his father is a Holocaust survivor. If anybody has any business of being able to talk or joke about that kind of stuff, it should be that person. Like, I don't think some white lady has any. I don't know if she was white. I'm putting that into my. Never mind. I have no opinion on that.
Like, I don't want to derail this, but I do want to bring this up because you hurt my feelings a little bit.
Well, you're drunk right now, so I'm about to hurt him a lot.
Yeah. I know. But
dude.
But back to the JRE 270 doctors thing. You posted that in our group chat, and you didn't react to my response. John was the only.
What thing?
So Doug, in our group chat, Doug posted screenshots of news articles about the JRE getting people like 200.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember my response?
I don't.
John was the only one who laughed, and I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Well, let me pull it up. Now I feel bad. Now you have me feeling bad, you piece of shit. Let me pull it up.
I want you to look at it, and I don't even want to say it out loud because now I know I'm going to get your genuine reaction.
You'll get there, buddy. Come on, man. You'll get there.
You can use words.
You got this.
Words, Paul.
Help him, St. Rogies. Help him.
Help him.
Okay, here we go. Oh, well, you didn't respond with a GIF. You responded with a link for Nazi propaganda and censorship. To encyclopedia.ushmm.org.
What encyclopedia? What encyclopedia?
That's I don't under the here. I'm gonna show. I'll take a screenshot.
Click it. Just click it.
Nazi propaganda and censorship. The Nazis wanted Germans to support the Nazi dictatorship and believe in Nazi ideas. To accomplish this goal, they tried to control forms of communication through censorship and propaganda. This included control of newspapers, magazines, books, art, theater, music, movies, and radio. This is how I know you're fucked. This is how I know you're fucked up, because I get why you're having me read it now. It does make sense. But at the beginning of this, you just like, did you see the gift that I sent you guys?
No, I said, did you see my response? I said, did you see my response?
Okay, if I got to go back through this episode. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize tomorrow.
Yeah, you didn't acknowledge my response. John was the only one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
that was a really
probably
because
I was at work. Probably because I was at work.
Everybody says you can't make any correlations about what's going on in America to 1930s Germany. I've been hearing that on the news. You can't make any correlations to what's happening in America to 1930s Germany.
Technically, John didn't respond to your post. He commented in the thread under your post. You could look at this one of two ways. You could look at it as he's the only one who commented on your response, or you could look at it as John doesn't read the group text because he works a lot and he only looks at it once or twice every week. And then you got the capability to do that. I don't.
Just put him on speakerphone and put it next to your mic.
We're doing it. Oh God, okay. I'll do it, but he ain't gonna answer. But we are doing a podcast with him tomorrow.
Please. Yeah, we're doing our podcast tomorrow. This is like all of our podcasts.
Yeah, and we can bring this up to him tomorrow. What he thought. You know what I'm trying to say?
I don't want our two viewers right now having to wait to get the answer. Is drunk Paul lying?
Drunk mouth.
Ask if he was responding to me.
Hey, buddy, how you doing, man?
He's on the podcast. Let him know he's on the podcast.
Not too bad. You're on the podcast right now. My brother Paul is hammered, and he wanted me to call you because he doesn't believe me. Do you remember the other day in the group thread when I posted the article about 270 scientists write a letter to Spotify on Joe Rogan's dangerous COVID misinformation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the picture. Yeah.
And Paul responded with a link to an encyclopedia article, Nazi propaganda and censorship.
I saw the link. I did not click on it.
Thank you.
God damn it!
You just made my night, brother.
Okay.
Paul, I will explain it on the podcast tomorrow at noon your time. But yeah, you just deflated.
Paul said, "Fuck you."
Paul is drunk as shit. Paul decided for the first time ever to start drinking Bud Lights on the podcast, and he's like 5 in, and he's fucking hammered right now.
Nice. It's fun, isn't it?
It's fun, Paul.
Well, it's not for no reason. Tell him it's not for no reason.
Godspeed, good Paul.
Tell him I'm following doctor's orders.
All right, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Looking forward to it, brother.
Likewise, man. Bye. He didn't even read the fucking thing, Paul. He was laughing at my thing. But I would like to say this. I don't want to relish in it, but I would like to point out the fact that you're the one that wanted me to call him. That's all. It's over.
Bro. Look at this. I'm already over it. You know what? No matter what happens, I'm sleeping with two blondes tonight.
Oh, for crying out loud. You're going to put peanut butter on your balls. I know it's going to happen.
Oh God, I would never do that.
All right, man. I know you wouldn't. It was a fucking terrible joke. Because we were talking about road trip, and that's the first thing that popped into my mind was like, it's because it's your dog. It's not cheating because it's your dog.
Bandit's like, I'm gonna sit on the desk. I'm walking up and I'm gonna sit my ass on the desk. Don't do it.
All right. Well, we're at an hour and 13 minutes, and I've got stuff I gotta do, and I gotta take a leak. So unless you got other topics we could chat about, this has been Brothers from the Same Mother. And we will be here tomorrow. You'll be able to watch this episode after it goes up. I'm sure Paul will come up with a name. I hope he comes up with a name tomorrow when he's sober. Although the one he comes up with now might be really funny too. And yeah, we'll be here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for an episode of Brothers from Other Mothers, with the four of us. But yeah, this was a good second episode. I think I really do. I like this episode.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Are you okay to drive home?
I'm here. Dude. I'm already there, man.
We need intro and outro music. If you watch the show, if you like the show and you have any talent, we have Tony's going to make, he said he's going to make us an intro song, but I want to see if anybody who actually watches the show, because you keep telling me that the analytics are telling you that people are watching or listening. I want to see if anybody's creative and talented and wants to create an intro like an animated intro for our podcast, or wants to create music, or wants to create anything, or wants to write fan letters and fan artwork and send them to our snail mail address, we'll send you some stickers and some buttons and an app.
I do want to say one thing.
Okay.
I want to thank our resident commenter, Kim Peavy. She always watches the show and she always comments. So Kim, I want you to know we appreciate it and we think about you.
We love you, Kim. And Kim follows me on Instagram. She started following us. She started following through Bob and Doug Save You from Boredom. I believe she's friends with Bob, or Bob knows her. But she's one of the people who, like, I know, listens to every episode and has great comments, and I fucking love it. It makes me honestly, it's shit like that, like reading her comments it's what it makes it fun doing all the podcasts. So but yeah, shout out to everybody who listens. I don't know if Devin or
he's floundering, ladies and gentlemen.
I am floundering. I do this on Bob and Doug Save You from Boredom because he listens to our show on there too, and I always mess up his name, but Andrew Burford.
Oh, I don't know. Live. That's funny. You fucked it up live.
I don't give a shit, man. The point is I got the name right, and that's what matters. The point is the love, the genuinity. I don't know if he watches the show. I know he watched Bob and Doug Save Me. He bought one of our T-shirts, but I love him too. I love everybody, all of you guys. Thank you. And we are going to have merch. We're going to have shirts and stickers coming up, and posters. We're going to get some posters. That's coming soon.
Are you plugging your other podcasts?
No, I'm plugging this because
we're gonna have merch. Oh, cool.
We're gonna have merch. Basically, what I did with Bob set up the account for Teespring, but Bob set up this account to create merch, where basically you get designs for your logos, your designs, whatever you want, and you could slap them on shirts, stickers, coffee tumblers, pint glasses, posters, everything you could think of that you'd want to sell as merch. And he sent me the link and the login info for it one day, and I tinkered around with it and created a bunch of cool stuff with the logos that you design. And we sold 2 T-shirts. Now, we sold 2 T-shirts to people who listen to the show and like the show and are friends with us. But the thing is I got to see what the shirts look like after they got sent out, and they're fucking high quality. Like, they look amazing, and they're reasonably priced. Like, I think they're like 20 or a little over $20 for like a shirt. But you can set the price. Like, it tells you like how much profit you would make off of each item based on how much you're charging for it, and you can alter your charging procedures and shit. And I know this is live and it's going long. I don't care, but like, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set up a Teespring account for Brothers from the Same Mother.
You just did a Donald Trump.
I know. I'm gonna. Okay. There's gonna be a lot of merch. I can't do the Shane Gillis.
I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, do you guys see all that merch?"
But we're going to have one for Brothers from the Same Mother, and we're going to have one from Brothers from Other Mothers, because I honestly want to go through all, and maybe Kim can do this. Maybe we can reward a listener. If you want to do a fun contest where you go through, like, I have
an idea for a contest. You already know.
I know you do. Your idea for the contest is for the Brothers from Other Mothers podcast, and so is mine. And I want your idea talked about on the podcast tomorrow. But the idea I'm thinking is a different idea from yours. Is I think it would be fun to have a listener, if there's a diehard listener who's willing to do it or wants to do it, go through the first season of Brothers from Other Mothers and find what they feel are the top 3 funniest things John said, or top 3 funniest. Yes, I'm sorry. I am going to caveat this with John, because this is a piece of merch idea that I want. Top 3 funniest things in their opinion that John said. Tell us where the timestamp is, or do a screenshot of the episodes and send them to us. And then we can choose, we can vote on which the funniest of the 3 is. And that image and that phrase will get put on a T-shirt or a sticker. Like, I want to make merch with John's face on it, because I genuinely think people would love to buy John merch. I'm sorry, John is like, he cracks me up. He's one of the funniest people, and I think there's plenty of great catchphrases. Same with you. I think there's plenty of great catchphrases between the 2 of you throughout our episodes that could be made into merch. And I'm rambling on. I'm sorry.
I am the trillest motherfucker in the land.
Who's that?
I don't know. Me.
Okay. The fuck. Anyway.
Name's right there, Motherfucker.
Paul the Great.
All right.
But yes, Yes, we will have merch coming up, and if you have ideas that you'd want, things you'd want to see, let us know. Paul, we need to figure out ideas for logos, and not just logos, but stuff to slap on stuff. Like I made some cool posters with Bob from pictures that I took from like video stuff that Bob and I filmed when he came to visit us, and nobody bought them, but like I put them on posters to where you can order them as a poster, and they look pretty cool. And I think that'd be kind of cool to come up with too. Is idea. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling.
As the artist that all this merch is going on, I'm just waiting for my cut.
Talk to Bob. He's got access to the Teespring. So far, there should be $20 that needs to be split, but I don't care. I don't want any money. I just like having fun.
It's not $20 profit.
I don't know how it works. Anyway, we're going on too long.
All right.
Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. And you go ahead. You sign off. Sign off what you want to sign off.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be here next Saturday night. I may keep the beer drinking thing up. If you guys enjoyed it, me having a few brewskis, let us know in the comments, and I might just keep getting drunk every Saturday night for you guys. Have a good night.